Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. So, welcome to Saturday's edition of the dceu Daily. If you like what you see, smash a like on this video, and please share and subscribe. If, of course, you like what you see. If you don't, go away. It's not for you then, is it? So on today's dceu Daily, we'll be talking about James Gunn and his reaction to Martin Scorsese's comments, comparing the Marvel Cinematic Universe to a theme park ride, which is hilarious, bang on point, but he probably should have kept those thoughts to himself. I think fellow artists shouldn't be gunning for fellow artists. It's like what they started doing, attacking Todd Phillips this week. There's no need for it. He had an opinion about his career, why he didn't want to do comedy films anymore. That's his prerogative to say that. He said nothing wrong from his point of view, and that's the end of it. Now, Martin Scorsese's made some comments, and this is what James Gunn's had to say. Martin Scorsese is one of my 5 favourite living filmmakers. I was outraged when people picketed The Last Temptation of Christ without having seen the film. I'm saddened that he's now judging my films in the same way. That said, I will always love Scorsese, be grateful for his contribution to cinema, and can't wait to see The Irishman. And I am not saying religious zealotry is the same as not liking my movies or in the same category. What I'm saying is, I'm not fond of people judging things without actually seeing them, whether it's a movie about Jesus or Janir. Really, Gunn should have kept quiet. Don't you think? I think we can all agree on that. Martin Scorsese says he doesn't watch Marvel movies and that they are not cinema. Right. There's a few others who have commented. Look, everyone's talking about this. James Gunn is now a DCEU director, as well as being tapped to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The problem is he's starting to put on his MCU hat too often. And it's beginning to bug me, and it's bugging a lot of people. And I think Ann Sarnoff and Walter Hamada are going to have to tell him to rein it in. Earlier this week, we already discussed that he's been telling us and Marvel fans to be friends, and we shouldn't, at the end of the day, it's banter, James. It's banter. It's like two opposition fans of teams, bantering each other. Sometimes it gets out of hand. I agree. But at the end of the day, we're not going to kiss and make up because too many things have happened. They attacked BVS. They attacked MOS. They were making fake accusations about the movie like they've been doing with the Joker movie. And at the end of the day, James, stop talking down to people. I am so excited that you're making the Suicide Squad. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie. You can go and kiss the Marvel Cinematic Universe's backside when Guardians 3 is in production. But for now, you are working for Warner Brothers, for DC. I'm grateful that you're making this movie, that you're part of the family, and you are part of the DC family when you get involved with our films. But you've got to understand something. We don't want to hear it. And we don't want to hear the fact that you're upset that one of the greatest creative, greatest storytellers of all time has spoken the truth. Now, as I said, he should have shut the fuck up. But do you know what? You should shut the fuck up as well, James, with all due respect. Basically, he's made an opinion. He's spoken the truth, but he shouldn't have said it. And do you know what? You and many others shouldn't have reacted either. And let me tell you why. Because the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like a theme park ride. They are generic movies you watch, you have a giggle with, you walk out, and you forget about them. You know what they are. You've got a lot of acclaim for doing them. And I'm not saying they're not art. All films are art. James, your Guardians of the Galaxy movies are very artistic. They look as beautiful as a Zack Snyder film. They really do. And I respect you, and I respect your talent. But you know what, James? As I've said before, you are now working for Warner Brothers. So put your Warner Brothers hat on. Forget about Marvel. When you go over there, you can babble all your SJW, extreme left stuff. I don't care. But while you're working for us, and you are working for us, the fans, the audience, the consumer, and WB, and while you're part of this family, you will respect us. And you will talk about DC, why you love DC, your excitement for making the Suicide Squad, what a wonderful lady Margot Robbie is. You can say all these things. But at the end of the day, take the MCU hat off and give it a rest. Next, we talk about Wonder Woman 1984. Has anyone heard of the Twitter account Viewer Anon? Now, I'm not sure if this is some kind of spoof account, some kind of piss-taking account, but this is what he or she had to say. Okay, so that Wonder Woman 1984 test screening, remember that it's very different. It's a very different movie from the first, and reactions are all over the map. I've heard it described as big and bold and fun, and I've heard it described as a new Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, for our day and age. So I'm just looking at the comments because that's just puzzling. I have seen the test screening. So basically, right, I'm puzzled by that. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. The only thing I can actually think of is that obviously there is a Soviet element to this film. That's all I'll say. And there is it's a spy. Look, basically Diana is a spy. Basically, I'm not going to say anything more than that. So there is a nuclear kind of deterrent kind of theme to this film. So maybe that's why they're comparing it to Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. But apart from that, you shouldn't be using that film to be comparing Wonder Woman 1984. Because, look, it's a film, it's a self-contained movie. That's what they want. It's not a sequel. It's not a continuing story. It is basically based within its own window, if you like. I don't want to let anything out of the bag because this film has a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of surprises. It is absolutely, he's right, or she's right. It's nothing like the first Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman is one of my favourite CBMs of all time. It's an amazing film, and I'm talking about the first, second, and third act. I don't understand people's issues with the third act. I never will. But basically, this film, like what DC are doing, what they did with Aquaman and Shazam and now Joker, they're unique standalone movies, and this is what they're doing right now. And I'm sure in the future there'll be more connectivity. We'll get a proper Justice League movie, an awesome Justice League movie. But right now, they're settling down. Trying to move away from what Justice League was. They'll shout it out now and again. They have to, because this is the decision that Warner Brothers made after Justice League. They didn't want to reboot. They didn't want to cancel the DCEU. They've come up with another idea to make the DCEU more standalone and create this DC Black Label as well, which is basically Todd Phillips' idea and Walter Hamada's idea. And with the money coming in, I mean, we're talking about 100 million plus globally for the opening weekend of the Joker. It's come in higher than anyone ever imagined, even me. I mean, I knew this film could potentially make 600 million, maybe a little bit more. But I think we're definitely talking about at least 800 million now. Look, my Twitter feed is full of positivity. There was one site calling it a boring movie, and I suppose if you're not intelligent and you're not in your generation isn't used to intelligent movies, you call that boring. But to most people are wowed by the movie. They're going back to watch it a second and third time. This is bigger than anyone ever imagined. But I suspect that Todd Phillips knew exactly what he was doing. Let's make a real movie, and let's make it about a DC character. Joker's never had a movie. Let's do his origin story. Do you remember how triggered everyone was that Joker was getting an origin story? I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that. It's an origin story. I don't want to know where Joker comes from. But all of a sudden, the hype's there, because I think a lot of DC fans weren't really hyped for this film, but I was hyped for this film from the beginning, and I'll tell you why. When you hear the name Joaquin Phoenix, you stand up and you take notice, and all the reports saying there's going to be two Jokers, Jared Leto, Joaquin Phoenix. This is stupid. It's not stupid. That's why there's a multiverse within the DCEU, which makes it so not stupid. And now everyone is standing up and taking notice, because not only has this film got beautiful commentary, not only is it the opposite of wanting to make people turn violent. In fact, it puts you off of violence, and that's the whole idea. This is a great caricature about the Joker. He certainly is every version of the Joker I've seen. He acts like the Joker. He is the Joker. It's freaking amazing. And 8 out of 10 people are saying that. Doesn't matter how negative you want to be, how, your agenda is, you can't hurt this film. And I warned you all about that. I told you they'd come after us with this film, but I also told you they couldn't hurt this movie. So they can't lie to us about Joker movie anymore because it's out there for everyone to see. So now it's Wonder Woman 1984's turn. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. No. It is not a bad film. It's an astounding film. It's a unique film. Nothing like the first one. And nobody has anything to worry about. So what do you think of James Gunn's comments about Martin Scorsese? Do you think it's time for him to take his MCU hat off? He can't have two. Look, for me, he can't have two hats on. He's making a dceu movie. He's got to stop making his tweets about Marvel. We don't care how proud he is of Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not working for them right now. When you are, you can say and do what you want. But you're representing our franchise, our characters, and not just the ones that you're working with. Talk about the actors you're working with. Stop talking about the MCU. Stop talking down to us. And leave Martin Scorsese alone. He made some comments that I agree with, which he shouldn't have done. And that's my opinion. But I want to know your opinions down below. And I'll be back tomorrow with more DCEU Daily. See you later.